Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Okay, so things going on here over the last month since we last met. We did the semi-annual kitchen hood fire suppression testing in all the kitchens in the district. Everything went fine, everything looked good, we had no issues. At the same day, we also did the semi-annual halon testing in our one science lab on the second floor of the high school. That passed very well, no problems, we're good to go for another 6 months. Month and a half ago, we had the EA group out. They did a survey of all of our schools except for Parkside and Riverview, and we did do Parkside and Riverview because of the newer age of them. According to the state, we have to do a HERA report. Basically what that is it's a report that is on file in the schools with what hazardous materials, more specifically, we're targeting asbestos. That inspection has been completed. We are good for 3 years until the next full renewal. We will be doing a 6-month update every 6 months as a backup to the report. So it shows that we are doing inspections, and that will also be done by an outside group. So that is completed, and I believe the next 6 months will be sometime around June. The bathroom stalls that we approved late last year for the high school and John R., the remaining 6 bathrooms will be getting the bathroom stalls, the new walls, over spring break. We did field testing, or not field testing, but field measurements last week with the installation company to verify everything that they need to make sure everything's going to fit. So that has been completed, so we are good to go starting Monday, March 25th. A week and a half or so ago, the high school elevator went down. It wouldn't run. It was down for several days. Turns out that we had multiple issues. One of the bigger issues was the fact that the main power switch in the mechanical room, which is outside of the high school, that went bad. Maintenance purchased one, we replaced it. Then I had Maximum Elevator, who services our elevators, come back out, evaluate the machinery, evaluate the operation of the elevator. They gave it a clean bill of health. Once again, in my conversations with their technicians, we have a dinosaur, and at some point that dinosaur is going to expire. So just everybody needs to be aware. It's been a talking point for many years since I've been here that we are on borrowed time with that elevator, and eventually something may happen and we will be forced to replace that.
You have any idea of replacement cost?
Probably 100, maybe 100 and a quarter. The biggest issue, Scott, is going to be the fact that the mechanical room, because of today's technology, the mechanical room will have to have heating and cooling at all times in there, which we currently do not have. So there'll be additional works to that room itself.
And that's separate outside?
That is separate outside, that is correct.
Can we put students in there too in the summer
Sure.
to help keep it cold?
All of 5 people.
What kind of an enclosure is that maintenance or?
It's just
mechanical?
it's a 4-walled concrete block, flat roof room.
And it's detached from the building?
It's attached to it, but it just sits outside.
Okay.
Like a 6x8 room?
Yes. It holds the oil tank, it holds the pressure motor, and it holds the electrical. That's what it holds.
And they said they could put a car in there. I know that ADA was an issue.
ADA is very flexible. It's really not a Ohio Revised Code standard. It's just a matter of your biggest issue with the elevators. Yes, we could put a car in there, car for car, more modern. I believe we have a 2-piston system, which means there's a piston on each side of the car at the bottom that pushes up, which is good because if we have a single piston, you have to replace the whole thing, which gets dirty, nasty, and more expensive than you even want to think about. But my last look into the elevator pit, I'm pretty sure I saw a 2-piston system.
How, was that elevator original to the building, or when was that added?
I think it was added after the school, but I'm not positive on that. I could look on the mechanical box. It'll give us a date of the elevator.
Maybe 60s?
I would say 60s,
Okay.
definitely.
Probably with this edition, correct?
Yeah. Every year, We are obligated to inspect our basketball hoops and our bleachers inside and out. The week of the 17th, the field house bleachers on the inside were inspected and completed. They did, the inspections get done by Borgman Athletics. They did detect a couple issues with the electric motors that move the bleachers in and out. They will be giving me a report here in the next couple weeks along with a cost and scope of work to replace what they found. Come June, they will continue their inspections, which will include any outside bleachers, including the stadium, Lamuth, here in the high school, inside John R., and then all basketball hoops inside and out will also be inspected, which come with reports and costs for anything that they feel needs to be addressed. So that is happening, and it'll be completed by the end of June. I spelled roof wrong. We have roof leaks reported at Riverview, Parkside, and the high school. The roofing company has been notified. Once all the standing ice is removed and it's not raining outside, we will address these roofs. At that time, I'm expecting with the rain that's coming and the thaw that we're having, we're probably going to get more phone calls of items here and there.
Yeah, I'll just add, since I'm in that business, extreme cold and ice definitely cause some fracturing on flat roofs, so.
We also have a new leak that has sprung up in the high school and is currently on the slate roof. Scott, I would be happy to get any insight as to who we could possibly call. The company that I had been using out of Youngstown is unreliable, and I'm not satisfied with them, so I do not want them coming back because I need reliability and good work.
I think we might have a local contractor, lives in the district, been doing it for like 40, 35 years, something like that, and he would be fully capable and reliable, so
Okay.
I'll get with you on that.
Sounds good. There are some things on the flat roofs that my maintenance department and I can tackle to keep costs down, and then when it gets above that level, we bring in Roberts Roofing. When it comes to the peaks in the slate, we're not going to touch it.
Definitely.
In maintenance, snow removal has been going on. North Shore's been staying on top of things. We're very happy with the work that we've been doing. Maintenance has been staying on top of it as well. Outside of that, we're doing work orders. And the latest thing that has come up is we have 2 univents in John R. that have decided that they want to become a pain in my side, and we have nickel and dimed them to the point where they're on life support. We are currently looking at companies and costs to retrofit new univents over the summer. We're not finding parts, we're not finding pieces, and we're now looking at shafts, bearings, squirrel cages, everything's just disintegrating and falling apart.
You're talking about louvered beds?
Yep. Teachers can't teach because it's noisy. We get it quiet for a while, then something else falls apart, it starts to rattle. So we do have 2 in John R. that we are currently working on trying to quiet them down and get heat in there, at least to get us through the next couple months. We have a couple plumbing issues here at the high school that require us, because we don't have isolation valves, unless I can find one in the crawl space of the high school. We may have to shut the building down, which could be a Saturday or Sunday issue. We do not want to attempt to try to do something during the school day, because if it goes sideways on us, then we don't have water, we don't have school, and that doesn't look good all the way around. So we're working on that as well. As we always say in the maintenance department, Riverside Maintenance makes it look easy, but believe me, it's not. But they do a hell of a good job. The custodial staff this winter has been rough. It has been a normal, finally, Northeast Ohio winter after 3 to 5 years. Custodial staff during the day has been doing a great job of keeping on top of limiting how much ice melt, and tracking is going through the school. It's not perfect, but they're doing a great job of handling that and the day-to-day needs. And then the night staff is, of course, doing what they can to make sure that the schools are presentable for teachers and staff and students for the day of teaching. I'd like to publicly thank the Painesville Power. We had a couple mornings where the lights in the parking lot went out. We do not control that. It is not attached to any of our power panels here at the school. And Painesville was very quick to get their line crews out, even in the nasty cold weather, to get that corrected and lit up for us, which was appreciated on my behalf, and I'm sure everybody else trying to find their parking spot in the pitch dark in the wintertime in the morning. That's all I have, and then we just have, if anybody would like to talk about CTE, Riverview, or the Buckeye projects.
So I think there's just ongoing meetings, right? And we're heading to one after this meeting.
There are, the only other thing we were talking about is just to follow up on, I know you mentioned the bleachers in the field house, the bleachers in the gym up here and the replacement and removing those and already moving forward with that project for aluminum replacements.
Okay, so what's going to happen is the remaining bleachers in the high school gym, those come summer will be removed. We plan to paint the gym, and then with the assistance of Nick Schuschler, one of our teachers, we'll be putting in movable aluminum seating in the gym. Movable meaning that they come with casters on them. If you tilt them back, you can roll them anywhere you want. This way we have the flexibility of seating within the gym. If we need it outside or over in the field house, we can do that as well. We have several sets over in the field house that we could bring over if we have a large event. What also helps with is that with the amount of activities that we do have in our gym, the plastic seating, if you take a look, has broken pieces from various balls or objects, and this will alleviate that. We did get a cost last year after last year's inspection, and just to replace what you currently see there was $46,000. So a $25,000 investment in aluminum seating is going to be a savings for us, plus it'll give us flexibility and more durability as far as I'm concerned. So that will take place over the summer.
How many years did we get out of that plastic stuff?
Probably since the high school was here, maybe from the 70s or 80s.
Those were put specifically on, when Jerry's Law was, I remember that, we had that year with Jerry's Law, it has to be what, 17, 18 years ago, I want to think, if not a little bit more, when they, wood bleachers weren't allowed, they weren't safe, so they wouldn't, you had to change all your bleachers and all that, so we upgraded them all.
And then 2 years ago, when we took the other side of the gym off, those seats were saved and put what is currently there. And we are about at that stock now as well.
So on the Painesville Township zoning, Dishay has what he needs.
As far as I know, yes.
Was that
That's,
what-
that's part of our meeting next.
Oh, okay, because the property's
Yeah,
closed.
yeah,
it
we're
goes
headed over there to
him.
make sure that
Yeah.
they're, my understanding is it's not just the property that we currently own, it's the one next to it as well, they're rezoning, so they're gonna do both at once.
Oh, they're gonna do them both,
Yes.
just to clean up the property
That
line
was
for the plat.
for my conversation,
Oh,
but there's no hiccups.
That's what they wanna do.
That's-
Easily done, right?
That was my understanding, that they've said they have no concerns or hiccups or anything to that.
Just to get back to the univents for a second, what's availability of, new units and size-wise and?
We're currently looking into that.
Okay.
In the last conversation that I've had with Ryan and some of the projects he was on, they are typically custom built. But we are looking into that to confirm whether or not that is true, and then what the availability and cost will be. We were hoping that maybe we could find an insert to where we detach the heating coils, the cables, the motors, the vents, slide those out, slide the guts in, and just keep the casing in place. That would be easier than having to take the entire
Right.
unit off the wall, and then, we don't know what kind of wall scarring we're gonna have if it's not the same size. Downside to them is now they're going to a DC motor, kind of like your house. So when that goes, the motors are more expensive than the unit itself. Kind of like the heat exchangers for high efficiency boilers now, the heat exchanger themselves are more expensive than putting in a whole new boiler. So there's an upside and a downside to everything.
That's becoming the case with almost everything we buy now.
Mhm.
residentially, commercially, yeah.
And I hope to have an update on Univents for you at the next meeting, if not sooner, just to kind of give everybody an idea of what the availability is, what the lead time is, and cost, and honestly too, if it's how time consuming they're gonna be, and in depth, in detail, if we can handle it or not, because we only have 8-9 weeks in the summer, on top of getting everything else done.
So that begs another question. You say there's two that are a lot of headaches right now. How many others are there?
There's another one, there's 3.
This is just.
I would say right now-
This is just the boardroom.
This was that, yeah.
I would say right now, we have at least a half a dozen that we've been babying, but we have 2 right now that have really, this past week have elevated to not good.
Look, so I'm looking at is if it's causing you more time and headaches and money, maybe we'd be a little proactive and look, because we're gonna have to replace them over time anyway, right?
Mhm.
So it's something
And it's difficult for the teachers to teach. I mean, when you got something that's rattling around and
Yeah.
it sounds like a jet engine, you can't teach.
is that it? Anything else? Well,
That's all.
that's an easy meeting.
Easy.
Thank you, Rich.
You're welcome.